This week on SheridanMedia.com is presented by Magic 102.3. I'm Steve Sisson. Steven Schreffler begins this week chatting with Sheridan Hawks head coach Andy Scheib about the season.
Jacob Cummings and Blake Billings are two of the best players in the entire league. What are these guys able to do that gives them so much success?
You know, those guys are really skilled players. They come and they compete every day. I think those guys, their puck awareness, their hockey smarts, and their skills. That's what separates them from the rest of the team. They just do things the right way. They've been taught the right way, and they have the ability to take over a game.
On your line changes, how long do you like to give a player for a shift?
We try to keep shifts to 30-35 seconds. We try to go out there and go as hard as we can for 30-35 seconds, and then we give them a rest here on the bench. So we got 4 lines, and then we try to roll all 4 as best we can. Obviously special teams and stuff plays into that, but for the most part we try to get them out and back into the game as fast as possible.
I've noticed that our team is sitting on the bench while the other team is usually standing. Is there a strategy behind that?
I think it's more or less so I can see over the guys. We got the bench here, we got so many players, if they're standing up, it's tough to see. We want to be able to see the game. There's times where they're standing up and it's more of a momentum thing, but it's a long hockey game too, so it's a 60-minute game and we're trying to give some guys some rest too. So the guys that are playing a lot, most of them are probably sitting on the bench getting some rest because they know they're going back out.
How big was having home ice advantage in this series of the playoffs?
You know, it's huge. It's huge. When you're traveling 6 hours and playing other teams and you're not getting that rest, you got the bus legs. It's absolutely a huge advantage having home ice advantage just because of where we're playing. We're comfortable. We got our own locker room. We got our own routine. We have our home fans. So, you know, it's huge to have 3 home games.
This weekend pushed your win streak to 40 straight games. At this point, do you even think about the win streak anymore?
I mean, we still talk about it just because it's there, but as far as thinking about it, no. I mean, as soon as the regular season was over, our record was 0-0. We came in this weekend with the mentality that we got to win 3 games, and we won 2, which was huge. So obviously the streak is still talked about because it's pretty special, but for the most part, now we're in playoff mode. Winning a championship and being a part of that is more important than the overall record.
Coach, what is your favorite moment of this season so far?
I think the biggest one this year, I mean, we've had a lot. We won the division, we won the NA3HL championship, regular season championship. We just won our first ever playoff game as the Sheridan Hawks. So I think the biggest moment for us would be winning the North American 3 Hockey League championship.
With more news from the local sports scene, here's James Timberlake.
It was a slow sports weekend for much of the high school sports teams, with most of them getting the Easter weekend off. The only local action this past weekend were the Sheridan Hawks. They concluded their first playoff series against the Missoula Bruins, where they swept the 3-game set, beating Missoula on Friday 4-2, then again on Saturday 10-1, setting them up for another 3-game divisional round matchup with Great Falls later this week, starting with a road matchup on Thursday in Great Falls. Also coming up this week, the Sheridan Bronc and Lady Bronc soccer teams will be back in action. The boys' teams will be at home for both of their games, first on Friday when they take on Cheyenne Central, with first kick scheduled for 4 p.m., then on Saturday when they take on Cheyenne East, with first kick scheduled for that one at 10 a.m. The Lady Bronc soccer team will be on the road for both of their games, taking on Cheyenne Central first on Friday at 4 p.m., then take the short ride across town to take on Cheyenne East at 10 a.m. on Saturday. The Sheridan Bronc and Lady Bronc track teams are having a busy week this week. First, they will travel down to the Bighorn Basin to compete in the Basin Invite on Thursday. Then they will travel to Spearfish to compete in the Spearfish Invite on Friday. And finally, they will conclude the week at Kelly Walsh, where they will play in the Kelly Walsh Invite on Saturday. The Bronc and Lady Bronc golf teams had their first practice on Monday. They will get as many shots in as they can before their first invite in Buffalo next Friday. Finally, concluding the local action this week, the Bronc and Lady Bronc tennis teams will have their first action on Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. when they take on Powell at home.
This week on SheridanMedia.com is presented by Magic 102.3, home of the 90s at 9. So we discovered something kind of cool about calendars recently. The 1993 calendar also works for 2021. But chances are you don't have a 1993 calendar lying around. But we have good news for you. Sheridan Printing has teamed up with Magic 102.3 to make these retro-style, brand new 1993 wall calendars. that you can hang proudly wherever, work, home, wherever you like. And we're going to give those away along with some of these Freddie Peg stands, which are great for holding note paper from Sheridan Printing, and $25 you can use in the store. And to learn how to win these, listen to the 90s at 9 weekdays at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on Magic 102.3. For more news throughout the week and to listen to Sheridan Media radio stations live, visit SheridanMedia.com. I'm Steve Sisson. Have a great week.